when you borrow money from a bank, whether it's a loan or a mortgage or a credit card, um, or whether you're borrowing money from some other people who have borrowed from a bank, like a HP or car loan or something like that, um, you enter that loan at the point at which you sign the piece of paper. Now, when you sign that piece of paper, that's a contract, and that contract is legally enforceable, and it says whoever the beneficiary of that contract is, the bank or HP firm, is entitled to a sum of money from your future earnings. Okay? And that's it. It's legally enforceable. If you don't give that sum of money from your future earnings to them over the period of time specified, they can send the police or the bailiffs around. They can haul you in court. They can possess stuff, right? They can enforce that contract. Right. Once you sign that contract, no money has changed hands at this point. Once you've signed that contract, the bank is suddenly richer to the tune of whatever you have agreed to pay back, okay, over those years, based on your likelihood of being able to pay it back. They can then go to the central bank, the Bank of England, and they can say to the central bank, look, we're richer with this new contract that gives us title to a portion of this person's income over the coming years. And the central bank looks at it and goes, oh yes, so you have. In which case, I will create some currency in your ledger to say you are now worth as much more as whatever that loan is. So let's say it's a £500,000 mortgage. As soon as you sign the mortgage with the bank takes it to the central bank, and the central bank says, oh yes, you are now worth 500,000 plus interest more, but you're worth 500,000 more, because that's legally enforceable. Therefore, the central bank will then put 500,000 in the lending bank's ledger. The lending bank will immediately take those 500,000 and put the same amount in your ledger that you've just signed, and you go, oh, whoopee doo, I've got 500,000. I'll now go off and buy a house. That's where the money came from. That money then, boom, is into the economy, because as soon as you take it out of your current account and buy a house or something with it, it knocks on, and the house seller buys another house, blah, 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 and out it goes into the economy. So that's how the money was put into the economy, right? Just by someone typing digits. As soon as you sign that debt instrument and say, I promise to give a certain amount of my income over whatever period of time, so mortgage 25 years, or a minimum payment on your credit card, you're giving value to your anticipated future earnings. And that's where the value is. The bank that you're borrowing from looks at that and goes, yeah, that's valuable, takes it to the central bank. The central bank says, yeah, that's future earnings. Put these digits on your screen. Those digits get put on the screen, they get put on the other screen, and away they go. So that's how money gets created in the modern economy. That's all laid out in a document on the Bank of England's website, which is still available, and it has been since 2014, called Money Creation in the Modern Economy. And that's in quarter one of the 2014 quarterly bulletin from the Bank of England. But that's how it works. So that's where money comes from. And that's how 97% of all new money in the economy has been created since at least 2000. It was created in a similar fashion, but not to the same degree. But since 2000, that's how all new money's been created in the economy. So we say, well, where do we get the money to pay UBI? Where do we get the money to pay to put food on everyone's table? Well, the same place we get the money to buy people's houses, to buy Ferraris and to buy sports clubs, all that kind of stuff. You just sign over a portion of your future earnings and the future value of your future labour in exchange for whatever it is you're getting. That's how it's been working for the last 40 years, and it can continue to work that way. 98% of human beings on the planet don't understand money that way. That includes people who work at banks. Right, and so you have laws, you have contracts. You know, this guy I'm going to speak to tomorrow, the underwriter, He doesn't know that. He doesn't know what I just explained. He couldn't explain that. He thinks, as far as he knows, at his level in the pyramid that he's fought and clawed his way up to get to be an underwriter who has the right to say yes or no. As far as he's concerned, his immediate superior up in the real higher chambers of the bank give him a set amount of money that he's allowed to dish out. That's how it normally works. Now, because of C-bills and coronavirus and everything, government is just saying, just get the money out there. Just pump that money into wherever it needs to go. We don't actually particularly care too much, even if someone right at this stage is trying to scam, so long as the money gets out there and gets into the system and gets where it needs to be and keeps this whole economy going, great. But old school bankers, right, hang on a minute, oh, we've got to make our cut, and they've suddenly got bankers themselves who could have radically alter everything that they've
But how
taught.
about people who are hungry haven't had any money yet?
Bankers don't give a shit about that. They never have. Whatever.
You're saying money's getting pumped into the system, but there's a lot of people who haven't got any money yet.
Because it's being pumped through old school systems at the moment. So it's being pumped through. So rather than the government just saying, right, hey everybody, just send the bills to us. Whatever bill you've got, just send it to us. Right? Just say, tell you what the government could do, could just issue everybody with a government credit card. All right. But you never have to pay it. There's no minimum payments. It doesn't matter what balance you run up. Right? That's what the government could do if it wanted to. Based on what I'm saying about how money works, the government could just post everybody a credit card and say, just use that. Just whatever you want, just use that. All right? That's perfectly straightforward. Why couldn't they do that? Couldn't do that because it would be too much of a head fuck for people.
Why are people raising money for the NHS?
Oh, well, the two reasons why. One, because the NHS has been massively underfunded, and that's actually what this crisis is about.
Yeah, but if they're just pumping money at it, why are people having to raise
Well, no,
funds?
well, two things. So the first is that there is this massive underfunding crisis. The second is that the actual human beings doing all this work, keeping us all alive at the moment, are massively underpaid. So there's a lot of awareness coming out now, which is masquerading as, just what can we do for these poor people who we've neglected and made suffer the awful indignities of, X many hours shifts, and, we've had to, import a lot of the people who are willing to do that kind of stuff. And so there's a big reaction now to that, with people going, oh my God, what were we thinking? We thought bankers were the people to be. Turns out, no. Nurses, doctors who you really need. So there's that going on. But if you go back to the cause of the crisis, which is massive underfunding, every government now, particularly now the brakes are off with the printing of money, every government wants to throw money at it, but there's a problem. This isn't a problem that right now money can solve. Doesn't matter how much you offer. What you couldn't have the governments all doing an international bidding war over the availability of ventilators or face masks, for example. Money can't get them out of this. This isn't right here, right now. Now, in
But
future,
if they can just print money, why
Yeah.
are they not just giving the NHS everything they
they
need?
are. They would.
But
They
why
are.
are people having to raise money for them if they've got all
Those
the money?
people, so those people aren't having to raise money for NHS. The NHS right now has got as much money as it needs. The unfortunate problem is that the NHS needed that money 15 years ago.
Yeah.
What people are raising money for is just trying to make life easy for these poor people who are keeping everybody alive during this virus. Right, so because if you think about someone who's got to do a 12, 14, 16-hour shift, well, what if they've got kids at home? What if they've got budgie girls that need feeding? What if they need the house cleaning? All the stuff that these people are not going to be able to do, that normally they have to do, as well as keeping everybody alive on a pittance that they get paid. So everyone else is going, I don't really think I'm going to be able to look them in the eye at the end of this if I've just sat on my arse bitching about how they don't really get paid enough. So what can I do for them? Right, that's my neighbour who's a nurse. Right, I'll clean their house. Or let's organise to make sure that all these people get free pizza, when they're doing the night shift, that kind of thing. Whatever it is, just anything that can help. So that's what they're doing. In terms of clubbing together to buy a ventilator in the way that you used to,
But they're putting out things on Facebook that you can pay money towards charity that's NHS support.
Yeah.
So it's not like buying pizzas and stuff. It's like gathering.
No, which is a much better way of doing it. Centralise the contributions. So have a centralised charity take care of it rather than people doing it too distributed.